Hey there, so today we have another review. This is Founders All Day. I want to say I reviewed this somewhat recently for you guys. My memory's not great. My memory's... ah. Yes, anyway, I think I reviewed this recently for you guys, but this is on BOGO again. So obviously, you buy two. Actually, it wasn't that cheap. It was like $13 for two six-packs. So first off, they're selling this beer for like $12.50 for a six-pack of Session IPA. It's under 5%. So it's a little bit pricey, right? Because, you know, for like you can buy like regular little highlight, which is like 1.5 the alcohol, like 7.5. It's like only $12. Granted, it comes from Florida, so who knows? But whatever, you can't beat a deal. You got two. I got two six packs for like $13, including tax. So let's try it out. And I'm gonna be happy about this versus when I had the BOGO buy one get one of the Sweetwater stuff. I'm still stuck with that in my fridge, and I'm very unhappy about it. The Sweetwater IPA is absolutely disgusting. I don't know what's wrong with it. I emailed them. They haven't replied. And then the gummies stuff is just disgusting. It's like just as bad as any of the Juice Force, Fruit Force nonsense. So pretty gross. So let's dig into this one. So for a Session IPA, beautifully clear, but it's actually a little color to it. So I guess, I mean, it's not probably much crystal malt, but just a little bit of color to it to give it this kind of like a medium gold color. But yeah, just a generic kind of hoppiness to it. It's quite fresh. This was canned actually about 3 weeks. Yeah, actually 3 weeks ago on the dot. Yeah, but a little bit grassy, a little bit of light grapefruit action. Smells a little bit old school, but not punchy. Like, yeah, a nice, you know, general kind of like familiar American hop character of a Session IPA slash pale ale. Not much malt to speak of. Yeah, that's what Founders All Day says. Like, I've had this beer, enjoyed this beer. So in general, the perception is it hits with bitterness. Oh yeah, oh yeah. 42 IBUs for a beer that's 4.7%. If you want some context, like, you know, a very bitter Pilsner, like German Pilsner, at around 4.7%, might be pushing 35 IBUs. So this is 42. So this seems bigger than that. So this is very bitter for a beer that's under 5%. You guys post comments below, but there probably aren't too many beers on the market that are that much more higher in IBU at under 5%. Granted, IBUs is all about perception, blah, blah, blah. This perceivably is pretty high in bitterness. Partially because I just talked about bitterness, but then there's a lack of malt. There's really, you know, the beer is very skinny. It has very much this kind of Diet Coke kind of action, if that analogy works for you. You know, sometimes you drink Coke, it just has a sweetness, a fullness, a rounded body to it. It hits. This beer tastes like a pale ale, a diet pale ale, right? You're hitting about 1.5 ABV under... probably 1% full ABV under a Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, but doesn't have the crystal malt action. It hits with the big bitterness up front and then really lean body. Again, it's like it's diet beer, diet craft beer, if that analogy helps you at all. If that's okay for you, then you're going to love it. It's bitterness. It has that kind of resonating hop character that you're itching for. It sort of sits like somewhere between like 70% pale ale and 30% NA beer or something like that, right? The body is very lean, just dries away quite nicely, doesn't really have much malt character to it, but it's got a freshness. It's piney, grapefruit peel, classic American hop character. Lingers. Yeah. I personally wish, I don't know how they can build it. I mean, you know, maybe you cannot. At 4.7%, you're not asking for much out of a beer. I wish there's just a little bit more texture to it, like, because it really has that kind of bitterness and itch of drinking a solid IPA. But maybe that's what people want. So, all right, here's two things you can do. If you want a pale ale, just drink a pale ale, because you can have more malt body generally. Like a Dale Pale Ale, a Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, even a Daisy Cutter. It's just going to have more action to it. You're going to have a more full experience. But if you're an IPA drinker, like a 6.5, 7% IPA drinker, this sort of hits the itch. It's like diet IPA. It has that fullness, that big round hop character, that bitterness and all that action, but then it's just watery. Just like what Diet Coke does versus Coke, right? So it does its job. So I personally maybe prefer a little bit more complete of a beer, sort of a more of an American pale ale, but Session IPA does a great job at mimicking what American IPA can do with that big punch of like in the context of a 4.7% beer, it has a lot of hop character, bitterness, bitter beer. It's way bitter, more bitter than most pale ales, I want to say. But you also get this really juicy, wonderful hop character. As I drink more, it's like got a little bit of tangerine action, fresh grapefruit rind, pine for days, a little bit kind of light resiny character. Just really beautiful. This is, I mean, it's 3 weeks fresh. It really should taste this good. So it really is one of the best all days I've had in quite a while. Very delicious. I'm actually very happy I picked up the two, and I might end up picking a couple more 6-packs up because it is really a great treat to have maybe after a shift and not drink a 7%, 7.5%, 8% beer. Just drink one of these. Really has that kind of lively hop character that you want, and you're not necessarily drinking a non-alcoholic beer, but you're also drinking under 5%, which is generally pretty good, especially for me getting off late at work. So, well, not late. I don't work until 4 a.m. anymore these days. So my restaurant closes at like 10 o'clock or something. So until next time, cheers. Later. Ooh, forgot. I need to give us a rating. What are we doing? I guess I'm almost lost in the conversation, which is honestly what I care about. I care about giving guys comparisons, analogies, what is the beer good for, and my kind of like story about the beer. But you sort of need a rating. I love the utility of this beer right now. It has this like fresh pine solventy, as if they can make IPA, cleaner, and it has that kind of freshness to it that I like. So, like piney too, yeah. I was never the hugest fan of this beer, but I'm liking the utility and how vibrantly hoppy it is. Which again, 3 weeks, they're crushing it. I've had 3-week beers that do not crush like this, and it's drinking so fresh, so delicious. It's definitely an A minus beer, or A minus beer for like its flavor, but I think the utility bumps it up. So I'm gonna give this beer like a 90, 95. At my age, having a really nice, big, rich, hoppy beer under 5% and big bitter beer at 5% to scratch that itch sometimes is just a gem. So post and comments below. I've definitely felt I've turned around on this beer. Maybe have you? 95 later.